What's up, everybody? We are live. So, yeah, just kind of getting going here this afternoon, kicking things off. Um, like I said, I kind of wanted to do like a chill hangout, maybe work on some decks. Not really totally sure. This is just kind of like I had some time and I like y'all, so we'll just hang out together for a bit. How's that? And we'll play some magic along the way. Because that's the one thing, obviously my content is very focused. We usually get on topic or we get to playing the games or whatever it is we're doing, and it's very structured and tight and try to do what we're doing. But when I get on the streams, I do like to kind of back and forth a little bit, like learn a little bit about y'all. Y'all get to learn a little bit more about me, and it's not just about playing the game, you know? Hey Sean, how's it going? Like one of the things for me, and I think for most content creators that are going to be ultimately successful, is that at some point it needs to be more about them than the game or the item they're associated with. You know what I mean? And because I think that's where you get a lot of creators that struggle, where they're playing Magic or they're playing something else or whatever every day, and then they get to where like, man, I can't play another game or I can't talk about another thing, or it's going to cost me a lot of business or something. And that's not everywhere you want to be, right? You want to enjoy your audience and get it back. That's why I like having people in the Discord or whatever that we can talk to, socialize. I kind of learn about where people are from or whatever. And it's a true community, right? That's what we want. So hopefully, streaming on YouTube a little bit more, we'll get to know each other a little bit better. We'll find out a few things, and we'll still play some Magic, but maybe sometimes we're gonna be playing some Storybook Brawl, or we're gonna be playing some Team Fight Tactics. Because I stream TFT over on Facebook Gaming as well, right? But I used to do that late night when I'm on. But just saying, there are other games I play that it'd be cool to do like a TFT day where I get 4, 5, 6, 7 viewers and we just go into a lobby together and play Team Fight Tactics. I'm not great at it, but it'd be fun to get to play with some people, and play something a little bit different. So I think that could be enjoyable for like on Twitch a couple times. Which speaking of, tonight we're doing a giveaway on the Twitch stream, so check that out. But we did like the Jackbox games. We did that one night, right? And that was fun. Just rotated through 3 or 4 games. People in the chat got to hang out and play, and it was fun. Just a way to interact and do something different, right? Because it's not everything has to be so serious. I think as Magic players, too many players get caught up on like they have to be trying to be the best. They have to be building the most efficient deck or whatever, right? Like that's always a thing. Like I literally have had people come into my chats and want help with a deck that they're already have like a 60% win percent with or whatever, right? And it's like, why are you even messing with it? You're already winning 65%. Like, it's like, yeah, but how do I get it to like 75? And it's like, what are we doing? Right? Like if you're at 65% win percentage, like you're gonna be doing fantastic. That's better than most decks will ever do. But like people get so hung up on like things have to be perfect in their gaming. And I see it in Teamfight Tactics if people are trying to rank faster and they feel like failures if they're taking too long to get to the upper levels. I see it in just about every game, and I don't know why that's a thing. It doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't have to be that way. Like your game, like here's the thing. I get it, right? If you're making a living doing it, or you're in a competition where you've had an entry fee and there's prizes or whatever, totally understand. But when you're just goofing around at your local store for like a $5 entry fee on like an F&M, meh. When you're playing Arena on the ladder effectively for free, nah. Like that stuff shouldn't be stressing you out. I always tell people if that's stressing you out when you're deck building or playing games or whatever, get up and take a walk. Go pet your dog or your cat, right? Go chat with your significant other. Go do something. Just get away from the computer, right? You shouldn't be letting it tilt you, burn you out, whatever. Like your games shouldn't do that. If your games are doing that, something's wrong. Seriously. And I'm not saying that to judge people or whatever, but the reality is if your games are doing that to you, you're approaching them incorrectly. And you've lost the fun factor in those games, including Magic. You know, and I like Magic. I've obviously played it since damn near when it came out. But I've watched people just burn out for no good reason, just because they're putting stress on themselves for some made up reason that doesn't even make any sense. It's usually just, I don't even know. Like sometimes people are just stressing themselves out and there's no reason, zero reason. So, you know, try to adopt that into your line of thinking when you're playing games, whatever the game is. Like, if you're getting stressed and you're not having fun, get up and walk away. I mean, it's really that simple. And don't get me wrong, like, I have those moments every once in a while. I'm usually pretty chill, whatever, but like, maybe it's stuff outside the game that's affecting you, and then you lose 2 or 3 times in a row, and it starts to pile up a little bit, and you're just like tense and frustrated. You're like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be gaming right now. You know, I've done that after stream. Hey, Mike, like, I've done that after a stream where it's just like, got done and I kind of wanted to do some work and work on a video, and I'm just like, my mindset's not right. Let me just go chill out or go watch an hour of a TV show, maybe grab a bite to eat. Okay, now I'll come back and sit in front of the computer. Like, because people ask me all the time, how do I not get burnout putting out whatever videos every day and podcast and the whole 9 yards and streaming? And I was like, mentally, you learn to balance it over time. It takes practice. And I think people need to work on that. Like, we don't talk enough about mental state of things, right? We always tell people, just be tough, get through it. But it's like, how about we give people ideas and tools and positive feedback or whatever to help them get through it? Other than just saying, like, rub some dirt on it effectively, right? Like, we can do better. We can do better. But that's the approach I take anyway. So I just figured we'd take a moment, talk about that, share that with people as we got a few people hanging out today. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I just gave like a church sermon. Like I need to pass around an offering plate now. Like, but I don't know. That's kind of the way I've always been. Anybody knows me in person, like I always try to share ideas, positivity, help people out wherever I can. And sometimes that's just going to come through in my content. And that's a thing I can do on streams that I can't do in just a pre-recorded video, right? Because this kind of flows and goes where it is, and if stuff pops up, so we can talk about it or whatever. But like a video, I kind of have to structure it, I have to edit out the junk, you know, whatever. So you get a tight, reasonable video. And I do enjoy doing that, but I do also enjoy like doing the uplifting parts as well. You know, and here's another thing too. For real, for real. Not even joking. Like, and I know some people are going to hate this and they're going to leave the chat, or people are going to watch us after the fact and want to like unsubscribe or downvote me or whatever. Fine. I don't care. It's a true thing that I think people should be aware of. There's a bunch of people, because I've been posting stuff over on TikTok. There's a bunch of people I know over there that have been trying to push and do things during Black History Month. Feel how you will about that or whatever. It's fine. But the reality is there are actually a lot of people having their content suppressed or even blocked if they're doing a live stream, if they're mentioning things that are even remotely edgy or controversial or even in the news that are factual, and they're promoting a bunch of other people that seem to be doing some off the wall hateful stuff, whatever, and that's super unfortunate. So when you do see somebody doing some positive, uplifting, informational content, please like it, share it, whatever. Like, help them gain their reach, because there are things that are being pushed down and suppressed or whatever. And I've literally watched people do tests where they basically did a near identical project or stream or whatever to what somebody else did, and theirs got shut down. Strictly, and I'm not even just saying this, like strictly for being a black person talking about an issue. And then one person wasn't even talking about issues. He literally did the same stream, literally down to the point that he dressed similar as the other person, just to make sure that like there was nothing on his shirt or anything that was going to be offensive or whatever. And literally had people report his thing to TikTok just because of who he was. They blocked his stuff while he was live. His account was banned for till they reviewed it or whatever. All for them to come back and just say like, oh yeah, there's nothing here that violates TOS. Right? So that's going on. Like, a matter of fact, I can even tell you, I had somehow, I'm going back and looking at my stuff here while we're talking. Like, I had the downvote brigades out and about the other day coming after my stuff. And fortunately, I reached out to people on my Discord and said, hey, y'all, like, could y'all go watch this video and like it? Because people are out and about, like, being knuckleheads today. And I've had to do that a couple of times in the last like 2 months, right? That's a thing that's going on. Like there are people actively going around trying to suppress people's content, to take them down. Like I had somebody in this Gremlin, hey, greetings from Germany. Germany is one of, I think, like my second most viewed from country, which is pretty cool. So always welcome to have the Germans here. Like here's the thing. I had somebody send me a message, and I don't remember what video. I said something, like I made a reference to like Snoop Dogg or something silly, nothing big, just like a passing comment in one of my videos because it fit the scene and I was making a joke or something. Y'all know I say dumb things in my videos sometimes that are just humorous. They sent me a thing that said you should watch it with the urban comments because you might lose subscribers like me that can't relate. Like literally, like somebody sent me that, like on one of my gaming videos of just like, I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean urban? Like literally, I made a passing reference to a pop culture icon, and somebody's like, oh, well, if you're going to be on here talking about, I don't know, black celebrities or rappers or something, like I'm out. Like you're going to lose people. Or I'm like, really? Is that the mentality these days? Like, is it that bad? like you're literally telling somebody like I can't talk about a person or icon that came up in my like teenage formative years and happens to still be a celebrity today because that's bothersome and offensive. Like real talk, like that's a thing. Like, and I get stuff like that all the time. Yeah, exactly. Snoop Dogg hangs out with Martha Stewart and has a cooking show now. Like, seriously, that's a real thing. And by the way, it's actually entertaining. It shouldn't be. By all intents and purposes, that combination shouldn't work, but it totally does. But yeah, like stuff like that happens all the time. Like, and this is what's frustrating. And so this is going to be a little bit of a rant. So hang on with me for like a couple more minutes here. But one of the things that is frustrating from a gaming creator standpoint is that I watch people that are larger than me, significantly larger in some cases. And I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus. If you know, you know, whatever. That literally insult their audiences. Some of them are outright lying about things in their content. And I know this because I know the topics they're talking about because I've been in the industry and I've worked for some of the companies they've said things about. There are people that are only, I mean, there's people that have used misogynistic language regularly, even a gay reference F slur on one of their videos. I've seen people, like, I've even had people attack me when I've, like, because they couldn't tell, like, oh, you should be playing more ranked games or whatever, which most of my videos are ranked. But I see several of the other big creators, when they just want to test a weird off the wall deck, they're not playing ranked games at all. You know, like, but I'm getting attacked for not the one time I don't do it. Right? Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, and I mean, and this is the bad part, because any of y'all that know me in person, like, I do a ton of stuff. I just go about my business under the radar, whatever. I just make stuff happen. And I don't really play the race card that much. But when you look around and you just say, like, why am I the one that's being singled out for this? And I know this because I go back and do my research. When I see stuff from people, I go see if I can find them on Twitter, see who they follow. I look on YouTube, see who they're subscribed to. So I'm going like, all right, so all these other people are doing the thing that you're mad at me for. Yet when I go check all their stuff, you didn't leave a single comment saying a thing. But you decided to come do it to me. Multiple times in some cases. So it's like, come on now, y'all. Right? Like, because I'll tell you, like, because of my podcast, we do research. Like, when there's an issue or topic or whatever, we do deep dives. Like, so I will, and I'm pretty nice, but when stuff like that comes up, I'll go petty. I'll go deep dive. I'll waste an hour and a half getting all the research I can on you, who you follow, who follows you, whatever, so I understand where a comment or perspective is coming from. And when I look around and go like, so the thing you're calling me out on, all these other people that you interact with are doing, but you didn't bother saying anything to them or about that. Okay, I see where you at then, right? Just saying. Like, so I bring that stuff up just so people know that it's a real thing. You know, because it doesn't do me like any good to just be like, to call it out or whatever. Like, it's not going to make people watch more or less or whatever. Probably make them watch less because I'm talking about it, honestly. So I don't really have anything to gain other than giving y'all awareness, truthfully. On the subject of Snoop narrating nature is coming. That is true. That is pretty funny. Water's wet, the sky should boot. Yep, absolutely. Hey, Ron. Good to see you. Abstinence says, so pitiful to hear things like that. Keep your, you know, thank you for that, by the way. But like, that's the thing. It's not going to stop me from doing what I do. It just makes me put things in perspective and say, okay, some people are going to feel this way. There's these people who are just going to attack because they're going to attack, right? At some point, you just have to ignore them because nothing good's going to come from it. I learned what's a blurred from your podcast. Oh, yeah, that's true. Like, I thought a blurred was a made up thing. I genuinely did. I didn't even know that was a term until like 5 years ago or something. But yeah, it's been a thing. A black nerd is often referred to as a blurred. I did not know this until I found out there was an actual blurred con, like an actual, like somebody asked me if I was going to blurred con, and I was like, is that even a thing? And sure enough, it's a thing they do. I think it's in Atlanta or whatever. I don't think they did it during COVID, but they're doing it again, I think this year. But yeah, I may be applying next year to try to be a speaker or something at it and see how it goes. I think it'd be neat. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff out there, y'all. There's a lot of things. And there's stuff behind the scenes like that that doesn't get talked about a lot. Mostly because as a creator, like you get looked at poorly if you are talking about it. Because one, people just don't want to hear about it. That's the first thing. But the other is it looks like you're using it as an excuse for not succeeding. You know, and that's the toughest part because I know by me saying that I'm not magically going to get a bunch of views or whatever, right? Like that's not going to just change overnight because I made a statement. What I'm doing is trying to raise awareness so that when people see these issues or hear it coming from someone else or whatever, that they may not trust or may not be fully aware if that's a real thing or not. Like you're hearing it from somebody that hopefully has a bit more credibility or whatever, that you can say, okay, hey, I've heard it from this person too. Or this person's given examples of things or whatever. So like maybe this is a real thing. And you can just help build those other people up. You know, and I've had people ask, like, why aren't there more black magic creators? Or why aren't there more black, magic limited players or whatever? Like, there's just different things. I was like, well, there's not a lot in the community to begin with. Like, it's still a fairly newer thing to that audience or that community. And like I said, I have a whole laundry list of issues and stories that I can talk about that tell you we're not there yet. You know, it's not as believe me, we would all like for it to be free of any racial issues. 100%. Like nobody talking about it is talking about it because they're trying to promote racism or whatever. Like truthfully, we'd rather it not be a thing to talk about. You know, we'd rather everybody be treated equally. Coachy says there's a lot of ignorant people out there. Usually the best practice is to ignore them if possible, and you read the good comments again. Yeah, you know, like that's exactly it. I have the cool part is what people don't know is YouTube lets you shadow ban people all day. So literally you can just block somebody, hide somebody from the channel. They don't even get a notice that they're blocked or whatever. Just their comments never show up in your stuff for anybody else. As far as I know, they leave a comment. I guess they can see it as though they left a comment, but literally nobody else sees it. And it doesn't count toward my comment count or anything else. Like it doesn't count as engagement or nothing. It just magically doesn't show up anywhere. So if somebody's a knucklehead 3 or 4 times on my stuff, you just get blocked. Like I just don't need it. So there's a lot of comments that come up that y'all just don't even see anymore because like I just get rid of them as soon as they show up. And some of it's just people being people. Some of it like yesterday, I had somebody come on and was like, oh, well, it's sad how you took a deck Croaky's deck list and just added 1 card and called it your own. And I was like, what are you even talking about? So then, like I said, I went and did my research. I went and looked up Croaky's most recent video where he did it wasn't his most recent one, but the last red-white artifact aggro deck he did, which was like 3 or 4 days ago. Went and looked it up. Went and looked up his deck list, did the comparison, listed out all the things that were, which by the way was a lot of differences. I mean, I would say like a third of the deck was probably different. Because he used some different creatures and some different artifacts, and his land count was different, and he had some different spells, and basically wasn't the same deck. But it was like, really? You came in, you wanted to try to sound like a smartass, accuse me of just copying somebody else's work without giving them credit. Which, by the way, anybody watching this has seen me give credit to other people before. Even the one time I forgot to, I put out stuff on my social media that said, hey, on Twitter and on Facebook, like, hey, if you watch my stuff today, this deck came from this person. I forgot to note it. You should go watch their YouTube. And I linked to their YouTube channel. So anybody who's followed me knows that even when I do use other people's stuff, I go give them credit as well. So like, you're trying to make a scene and call me out? Like, all right, fine. Like, let's level set some things. And I listed all this up there and said, these are not the same decks. There's a lot of decks that are going to be similar because when you're talking about standard, there's only so many deck sets to work with, right? Right now, what do we have? Like 6 sets or whatever to work with? Or I guess we have the 3, 4, 5, 6. We just now got our 7th set or whatever, right? Is that correct? Something like that. Either way, we have a limited number of sets to work with, is what I'm saying. So everybody who builds a certain type of deck, well, yeah, half the deck-ish is going to be similar. There's certain cards that are just better than others for doing a certain strategy. That's just the way it's going to be, right? When I put up, I don't know, I'm looking at my deck list over here on this other screen, but like, let's say, I don't know, I put up one of my Abzan enchantments list. I'm sure there's going to be probably 7 or 8 other creators that have some Abzan enchantments list that's playing at least half the same cards because it makes sense to. That doesn't mean that everybody's thing is going to be the same, you know? Oh, I don't know what happened to Sean's comment there. It got retracted, or I guess he deleted it. I was like, I didn't touch it. But yeah, it's one of those dumb things. Is there any cool combo decks in the meta right now? I mean, depends on what you call combo. Like, you can go off with like Bard class and Burgy and whatever and get a bunch of infinite creatures and attack with haste in like one big turn. Like, you could do that. I mean, there's a few things, but like, it's just not efficient to do. Like, there are things you can do. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can try to like one turn kill with like the giant that does double damage and the vehicle that copies a creature, right? Like, you can try to do that. But like, the reality is you're just gonna be better off doing other things. Well, Absenta, it's not even about watching other YouTube videos. It's just that like some of our lists are going to be similar. Like right now, if you play mono red, which I do have a mono red list we haven't played yet, but it's like you're probably going to be playing Rabbit Battery, Play with Fire, Reckless Stormseeker, maybe not Raiju. You're probably playing Chandra, like Royal, whatever the 3 damage Royal spell, right? You're probably playing that. Maybe playing one of the other equipment creatures, probably like the Helm, some number of copies, and then the rest can be variable, right? But that's like 2/3 of the deck is going to be the same to the other red decks. Like, that's, again, not a surprise. It's just the way it is. You know, so like to even worry about that is silly. But again, went and looked at that person, looked at other stuff, other people that they follow, and found other lists that people put out after others that were similar. Technically, if by that logic, anybody who plays a green-white aggro enchantments list is copying me, because I put that out on first video I put out on day 1. Right? Does that mean everybody's like, absolutely not? There's a bunch of variants on it. It doesn't make mine the list that everybody's copying. Some people might have seen it and went, oh, that looks really cool. I didn't think that was going to be that powerful. Let me make a version of it. And then they ran with their own version. Like, that's fine. I'm not worried about it. Gather from Magic says, did you catch the midweek Magic event this week? If so, nope. I have not played a single arena event outside of the ones I qualified for in like the top 1200. And like 2 or 3, whatever you call those things, the arena challenge days or whatever. Forgot what those are called. The ones where you can win the money. That's about it. I have played, the only other events I can think of that I've played were one of the Jumpstart events because the chat wanted to see it, and then 2 of the Momir Vig events because the chat wanted to see it. That was about it. I don't really play the arena events. No particular reason other than I just spend my time doing other stuff as far as like working on decks and whatnot. So it's just not a thing that happens that often. I know some people are into it. People have asked me like, why don't I make content around it? The reality is because it's not good for SEO and it has no long-term value. because a lot of those are special events with weird rules or whatever. But like, unless you're playing that event that day, once it passes, you have no concern to play it again. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to build a deck with special rules and then to never play it. So it's just bad for content. Will we see you work with SPMTG again anytime soon? Go hammer Dev. That's all I can say to that. Dev says yes. Dev never contacts me back. So like don't mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean like he's like ghosting me or whatever. Like he just literally doesn't get back to me for business stuff or whatever. So I've offered to give him my text number or to get his. The rest is in his court at this point. I have made time. I let him know I'm available. I had ideas I was sitting on that we could do together. He was into it. At one point, we even talked about doing a wrestling nerd magic podcast thing or video series of videos on the YouTube channel. And I don't know what happened to it. So I'm just leaving that to them. I think Blade of the Oni could be good. I have a deck that's in there. I don't know if it's any good, but we'll see. The other thing, too, to that end, and this is the part that does bug me. And I am going to put this out because this is a little bit of a, like, this sucks kind of rant. But if you go back to, and we talked about this on my podcast pretty extensively. But if you go back to last year when all the George Floyd stuff was happening and all that, and people were trying to elevate black voices, and, you know, we went through that whole thing. We talked about it on our podcast that there was going to be like a 3-month window where we were going to get all these extra views and all these other people are going to be interested and whatever. And then after that, it was going to fall off. And that's exactly what we saw happen. Like, and even for me, like I was on so many podcasts and YouTube things, and we did stuff on people's streams and whatever. Like, I have not had a single person reach out. Not true. That's not totally true. I had a couple people reach out to have me play some Commander with them. But I've had nobody reach out to do like thoughtful content since then. Like, so when people say like, you know, it's performative or whatever, like we knew, even on our podcast, we almost called it to the day where the fall off was going to start. And we saw the same thing. We saw the downloads and listens go up, and we saw it come back down. Now it's still slightly higher than where it was before, obviously, because, you know, natural growth, but definitely not where it was during that whole thing. So it's like, you know, and I saw it on my YouTube channel. I saw it with other Black Magic creators as well. Like, if you go back and look like a year and a half ago, some of them were like spiking huge numbers, you know, and I'm just now, after doing a couple of weeks of like the most content I've put out, just now getting views up to like, I would say 75 to 80% of where they were at that time. So yeah, that's a real thing. Like, there's numbers to back it up. So when people say like, that's not a thing, like, no, it is a thing. Like, there's literal numbers I can show people to back that up. But yeah, as far as for working with Dev, just, you know, have them reach out to me. I tell people, everybody who comes from Dev's community that asks me that, I'm like, dude, just go tell Dev that you like watching us work together, and sooner or later he's going to get back to me and we'll set a schedule. But until then, I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know how other creators do it, because like, I put out so much stuff, I have to have somewhat of a schedule as far as like how much time am I going to dedicate to streaming, how much am I researching, how much am I working on learning a new skill. Like, I literally have that all mapped out this week. Matter of fact, I have a thing I need to do for paying glasses that I have penciled in for later this week, because I'm doing a how to shop on their website video, right? Because I did the review and they liked it, so they're opening up the opportunity for me to do another video for them. So that's actually pretty cool. So, you know, sometimes you just got to find your opportunities where you can. Fan Syndicate says, hiya. Well, hiya back to you with a big smiley face. Much appreciated. Also, if y'all would be so kind and you would consider it, if you're thinking about supporting the channel financially and I don't have a Patreon, don't forget there's a join button down at the bottom. There's also super chats and stuff that you can use here. So all of that helps out. Not saying you have to, just pointing it out because a lot of people aren't used to using all the different features on YouTube. So I like to throw that out every once in a while for people. But yeah, I do want to say, generally speaking, though, all those other things aside, all the other issues, like, I am genuinely appreciative for the community we've been able to cultivate so far. Because for as much content as I put out, it's only been 2 years that I've been putting stuff up on YouTube. And I feel like I've done very good for 2 years. I also feel like I've created the right type of audience and community, which is very important to me. You know, like, I don't feel like I will have people from my community going out and attacking other people or whatever, right? Like that's not what we're about. It's cool to point it out or bring it up to me or, you know, ask somebody like, hey, did you copy this from PowrDragn? Or like, cool. But like not people that are going out and harassing other people, right? I don't want that community. Right. So it's cool that we have built the right audience, and that's kind of where I want to go moving forward. So really appreciative of that. Also, every time, and I mean this seriously, every time y'all like a video, leave a comment, share a video, especially sharing a video. People don't know how important that is. When you share a video for somebody, that triggers really highly on the recommendation system because that's basically saying this person liked this enough that they wanted to go make sure other people saw it. And then on top of that, it starts to bring views from some other place, whether that's Facebook or a Discord or Twitter or whatever, right? So now the recommendation system says, okay, not only did people share it and send it somewhere else, now traffic is coming from elsewhere. So we need to promote this to more people because this is obviously getting interest in other spaces, right? So that's huge. And every time y'all do any one of those three things, like, share, comment, it offsets the negative stuff, right? Where the downvote brigades come through. Because literally, I have some people that I know follow my content that are just downvote. Because I've literally put stuff up and seen negative downvotes within the first like 5 minutes of video, meaning they didn't even watch it. Like, there's no way they could have watched it because it's only been up 5 minutes, right? But they saw it, downvoted it, right? Those people exist. So when y'all are doing those other things, it's offsetting all those negative things. So not only does it count for what you're doing, you're offsetting the other crap that other people are putting on the content. So that helps so very much. So I'm glad I have y'all in my corner and helping out because that means so very much. It really makes it that much easier because I talk to other, we'll say marginalized creators because they come from different backgrounds and they don't have those communities yet. And they struggle with some of the same issues I deal with, even more so because they don't have people to counteract that. So very, very important. So I'm appreciative of every single one of y'all that does that. And I mean that. Kevin says, I recently found that Chariot can copy 3-mana Jace tokens. Yeah, Chariot can copy any token. Like, so if it's a token on the field, it can be copied. Whether that's food or treasure or creatures or, like you're saying, planeswalker tokens or whatever. Anything that's a physical token on the board, your Chariot can copy. Which makes Chariot a very random card, but very powerful as well. Also can do neat things in Commander, because there are all types of tokens you can copy in that format. But anyway, we got through all the talky stuff. But, you know, I tell y'all, when y'all come to my streams, we're going to be all over the place. Sometimes we're going to be talking about pop culture stuff. Sometimes we're talking about industry stuff. Sometimes we're talking about crazy behind the scenes stuff. So, like, you never know when you come by. There's always going to be something different. I'm just glad y'all like hearing about this type of stuff because there's all kinds of things. And Randy, that is true. Like, if you come by our Discord or whatever, I've only had to boot 2 people from my Discord. Everybody's been pretty chill. Everybody's very helpful. When people have a question, or if y'all, and I mean that genuinely when I say it in the videos, if y'all need deck help, or you're curious about something in the community that you don't understand, or maybe there's history you don't know about or whatever, come by the Discord. Come drop your question. Like, people are very helpful over there and really are supportive. So, like, I'm really happy about that. You had Jace 5 plus Rin plus Loth out. And I said, well, that's pretty good. It's going to be hard to lose from that position, I'd imagine. But yeah, so I've got some deck ideas, always. That's not a surprise. I think tomorrow's video is going to be Naya enchantments. I'm kind of set on that's what we're going to do. But I think I want to goof around with the 5-color Shrines deck right now. I can even copy Binding of the Old Gods brought back with a completed Tameo. Yep. Absolutely can do that. All right. Kevin also pronounced my name weird. My name right. Thanks. Oh, really? I just saw Kevin and thought that's what it was. Like, I don't know. Maybe because it's weird. Like, it's always interesting when people pronounce names differently because usually it's because of their background, right? Whatever other names they're used to seeing or languages that they speak, I think lead them to just go, okay, I'm going to assume it's pronounced this way. So I kind of get it, though it's really weird with my name, because my name's like, my given name, Daquan, is actually very phonetic, like when you see it. But I literally have people that pronounce it 50 different ways, which is amusing to me. Do I play Historic at all? Almost never, actually. I have one Historic deck in here that I haven't built out yet. And I was thinking about doing one Historic video just because, to kind of see how it does overall. Because, like, part of the issue for me is Historic, while there's a lot of cards, I don't feel that you can be truly as creative and competitive in Historic. And that's a personal perspective. I know people have told me otherwise, but I've watched a lot of events and I've watched people play on the ladder. There's a lot of miserable things for me for the Magic I like to play. I feel like if I play Historic on the ladder, which is what people want to see, because if I don't, we've already addressed this earlier, but if I don't play on the ladder, then people get upset and blah, 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 whatever. It is what it is. But playing on the ladder feels like a very repetitive, bad experience for me personally. There are cards in Historic I don't think need to be in Historic on Arena. It is what it is. I can't change that. So I don't do a lot of that content. I also am aware that a lot of people play Standard. A lot of people play Best of One. So it kind of makes sense still in the growth period of the channel to stick to that, because I know it's what people are coming for and it's been positive. But, occasionally I do some different videos, and I figured, like, why not do one Historic video and just see what's up? That would be great. I like Historic, but the meta is very stale right now. Well, yeah, that's my point, right? Like, if people were fine just seeing me play goofy stuff in the play queue, then maybe I would do more Historic. But that's from all the comments and, when I send out polls or whatever, like, that's not a thing people want to see. So that means I would have to play on the ladder and be very, very bored playing Historic. Whereas on Standard, the Standard ladder actually has, like, don't get me wrong, you're still going to see, like, Orzhov control, you're still going to see mono white aggro, whatever. But you do run into a fair amount of other things, which is pretty refreshing, especially right now after the set release. And then, of course, we're going to have an alchemy drop here in another like 2 or 3 weeks, around middle of next month, I think. So that'll be a thing. So once that happens, that'll be another fresh round of content. And then we'll be, I don't know, 3 weeks away from the next set happening by the time we wear that out. So there's not much need to do Historic right now. I think there are some other channels, like my friend Matumbo, he was doing a lot of Historic for a while. So, like, those exist, and if you want to go watch Historic, I don't know if I would be adding a lot to that community by playing Historic. Plus, I'd end up having to craft a bunch of cards that I just wouldn't like. I think, and this is one of the smaller issues, but I feel like if I were to do more Historic, I would be crafting a lot of cards that I would only use in 1 or 2 decks ever. Right? So I would be spending resources to get 1, maybe 2 pieces of content. Now, if my videos were doing more views and justifying more of that spend, then I probably wouldn't care as much. But I can craft stuff in Standard knowing that I'm going to use it in at least like 5, 6, 7 Standard decks this season. So I can get my money's worth out of whatever I spend in the process of building the content. Do I think they'll ever have ranked Historic Brawl or perhaps proper Commando Arena? No, that's not going to happen. Brawl is a casual format, so you'll never see it be ranked. Mostly because it's too far separated from the events you would eventually play in, right? At least everything else you're playing in the ladder, you're at least playing through competitive competition against competitive decks or whatever to eventually play in a competitive thing. The other thing is you don't want people trying to backdoor their way into the top 1200 or into the Mythic qualifier or whatever by going in, building overly competitive Brawl decks or whatever, and ruining that for the Brawl community. Like, nobody benefits from that being a ranked thing. Truthfully. Like, I get it that people are like, I want to be included and I want the thing I like to be ranked, but you really don't. Like, you don't know what you're asking for. Like, you let that be ranked, you will not enjoy playing Brawl any longer. I honestly believe that. As for Commander being on Arena, Probably not. The reality is the interface, the UI can't handle that. Like, imagine what the board looks like right now when each of you gets, I don't know, 30 things out or something, right? It already starts to look kind of small and convoluted. Now, think about what that looks like with 2 players on mobile. It's even smaller and convoluted. Now, you have to double that space because you have 2 more players now. Like, the amount of scrolling and sliding and everything else you'd have to do to make it play like right now just isn't feasible. Is there a way? Maybe. But you have to do a complete new rework of everything to make it work. I wish Pauper was an arena. You know, that's an interesting one because Pauper already isn't huge in paper. So I'm not even sure how much those queues would get used. And I don't know how beneficial that is to Wizards from a monetary standpoint. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Wizards should just be making everything about the money. But you do have to look at things from that perspective. Like, how much money do they make? Like, if they have Pauper all the time, do they ever realistically make money from those people that only play Pauper? Right? Is there going to be literally a whole section of their community they almost make zero money from? If so, are they motivated to do it? You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to look at stuff that way. Also, the other concern we have is that if you add all these various formats that people want, which people ask for a lot of formats, at what point do you get to where some of them have trouble firing in a timely fashion or finding equal level opponents because you've spread everybody so thin, right? Because if everybody had their way, there would be some version of Pioneer, Pauper, Historic, Standard, multiple sealed formats, Brawl. What's the other one though? The one where you can play some uncommons. Artisan would be a thing, right? You'd end up with like 10, 12 different formats. What does the queue look like in all those at different hours of the day? If like you're only a Pauper player, but there's only like maybe 1,000 people in the Pauper queue at any given time, right? Of different levels or whatever, right? Like I don't know. But there's a lot of things to solve around that. So do I think Pauper something or Artisan or whatever should be available? Yeah, probably. And I would say you're more likely to see Artisan than Pauper, partly because for whatever reason, it keeps something more active and original in Arena that you don't necessarily get a lot of in paper. And there's a small bit of chance they make a little bit more money from people buying a pack or two trying to get some more uncommon wild cards. So like maybe, I don't know. So, I mean, it's tough, but you got to look at stuff that way, sadly. Could I suggest a nice Gruul Goblin deck for Modern? Probably not, Mario. Partly because, well, 2 reasons. 1, I'm not playing a lot of Historic these days. 2, why aren't you just playing mono red goblins? Because we know that works. That's a thing. Like, just adding green for the sake of adding green probably doesn't do much to goblins. Like, we've already seen various goblin decks that are good. And then we've also seen several Gruul decks are good, so why try to make those into something they don't have to be? Like, you're going to be doing more work to probably be a weaker version of Goblins or be a weaker version of Gruul by trying to make it Gruul Goblins. Oh, did I miss a question up there? Always wondered, PD, what's my favorite MTG color if you had to pick only one? I don't know if I actually even really have a true, like, I don't know. I just like playing interesting cards. Like, if I had to choose, I mean, I don't know, green maybe? Like, I'm a weirdo. I don't have a lot of favorites. I think I've said that before, but like, it'd probably be green. But if you look at my stats from last season, the thing I got from Arena says I played more red than anything. So like, and I didn't even think I played that much red. So there you go. I don't know. I mean, it's not necessarily my favorite. It's just what the content led to, I guess. Interesting thing, though, when I saw it. I wouldn't have guessed that to be the case. Even the constructed rank queue gets whacked sometimes. I once versed gold while standard... Oh, yeah. That does happen. But, that doesn't happen a lot. But it does happen every once in a while where they just don't want people waiting in the queue for too long. So it's just like, well... there's this silver player and there's this platinum player. We just got to pair them up so they can play a game of Magic, right? I think it would be worse if you had another 5 formats available that people can play. That's a real problem. So, how many formats do we eventually get? I don't know. Yeah, that's probably it, Mike. Not blue is probably. But here's the thing, though. I'll be real. I don't hate the color blue. What I dislike is what blue has kind of become, right? Because like when it was Merfolk or when it was Tempo decks or like weird, interesting combos with like Tradewind Rider and stuff, like didn't have a problem with any of that. The issue is that blue cards now, most of them aren't doing anything. Like they're literally drawing, countering, bouncing, and then trying to get to some big finisher. Right? We haven't seen the like quality blue flyers decks in a while. We haven't seen any Merfolk hardly, I don't know, in 3 years it seems like. Right? Those are the issues I have problem. Like if we were doing that, then like I'd have no problem with the blue cards as much. The problem is right now, the blue cards are basically a bunch of stall effects and then some big finisher. Whether you're talking about Hullbreaker or now I guess Jin-Gitaxias or Lear or whatever, right? That's all they're doing. Those are kind of boring to play against. That's my issue. Like, so I just don't build as many blue decks because they're not doing fun things. Standard's too new, man. I don't even have a favorite deck. Like I've built like of the I don't know, what have we already built this season? Like 10 or 11 decks, something like that, 12 decks. I would say at least half of them I would actively play on the ladder right now, and because I enjoyed them. So there's a lot of good ones. Nah, me and CGB are good. Like we're in the same DJN gaming group. Like he knows. Like he's a big blue player. And I'm not the blue player. That's okay. If I ever have questions or ideas on something that's heavy blue, I'll go ask him or go look at one of his builds. you know, I imagine if he wants to play something that's aggro, he probably taps into my channel for a second, see what I have on tap from the last week. Blue has now become you don't get to play until my being pretty much. Like that's really it. But my problem isn't even just that, is that playing against it, a lot of those times against the blue decks, like one of my videos I had the other day, like I beat several of the blue base control decks in like 4 turns or something, and then they scooped, and it's just like that wasn't even fun Magic. They like bounced a thing, we still got to attack for a bunch, and then they died. Right? Even that's not exciting. So it's not even about just being able to beat them. It's just like it's not fun Magic for either side, playing against it or playing it, you know? That's my issue. At least when you're doing some interactive thing or you have flyers or the tempo setup or like we said, like Merfolk or whatever, like there's back and forth interactions and like combat's not just wide open or whatever. But unless they get fading hope, counter a thing, whatever, sometimes those decks just don't do anything. I like the new take on mono white with hotshot mechanic you played. Cool. Well, thank you. That was actually a more resilient version than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Blue has been the most hated color since Ancestral, Time Walk, Time Twister. Not always. Believe it or not. Like, there's been times where people have hated green. There's been times where people have hated, the mono red. Like, y'all don't even know. Back in the day, mono red would literally just look at you. Your opponent starts tapping the table like a horse counting. And it's like, what life are you at? And you'd be like, I'm at 14. And they're like doing some more math and like, okay, I attack. You take 4. I lightning bolt you. I bolt you. I do this thing. I sacrifice 2 mountains to my fire blast. You're dead. Right? And that's like turn 4 or 5. And you're just like, whatever. Right? Or I'm like, ball lightning you. That tramples over for 4. Lightning bolt you, fire blast you. Right? Like, people used to hate that. Like, you could be doing everything right, and your opponent, like, barely taking any damage, and you're just dead in one shot. Like, it's crazy. So there's been different points through Magic where each color's been able to do some silly things. Like, right now, if you ask people on the arena ladder, they'll probably tell you they hate white because of all the mono-white aggro. I really missed the blue landwalk unblockable combat trickery stuff. Yeah, landwalk's mostly done at this point. Kodak says, how you been? Good to see you're doing it after leaving the show. I don't even know what that's supposed to be saying. How you been? Good. I'm assuming that's good to see you. Are you doing good after leaving the show? The show? The shop. Leaving the shop. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing okay. I think I translated that. I am doing well. I think that's what you're getting at. Probably not responding to that though, so you probably want to reference person more accurately. Um, Royal Eruption kill. Yeah, that doesn't work quite as well as the other burn spells. I don't know. There was a time where white taxation. Yeah, yeah. The red land destruction was bad, but that's true. The death and taxes type stuff on white. Yeah, that was a bad time too. There's been some different times. That's what I'm saying. Like every color's had the opportunity to be the villain at various points. I mean, if you go back, like Necropotence was a big thing. The mono black decks playing that around the Ice Age release were pretty crazy for about a half year. I mean, oh gosh, there's been so many times. Every color's had an opportunity. It's just over the last, I would say, probably 4 or 5 years, blue has really gotten to where they're not doing anything what I would call truly interactive. It's just sit and wait blue cards. And it's just like, that's okay, but like that's not fun magic. And it's not even the other thing I hate about it, it's not fun magic for people to watch. Right? I've actually had to not include some of those games in my videos because I either just blew them out so fast or it was just a long game of just like they draw a card, I draw a card. I play a thing, it got countered. They draw 2 cards. All right, I play a thing, I attack, they bounce it, I replay it. Pass, draw a card, nothing. I draw a card. Like that's literally what it was, right? And after like 20 minutes, it's like, okay, I won the game, but that's not even worth showing because it eats up like half the video. And it's not like I don't mind a game eating up half the video if it's interesting. Right, if we're going back and forth and creatures are dying and I'm getting stuff out of the graveyard and you're trying to play planeswalkers and I have to answer your card or whatever, right? That's at least back and forth that's worth watching for a full like 18, 25 minutes, right? But when it's like nothing happening, it's like, well, that's not fun. Like at the end, you just hope the viewers are like, at least you beat that boring deck. Like otherwise there's nothing to take away from it. I don't know. I find all the control board wipes in standard. Well, yeah, that's really the bigger issue. I mean, and that's the one thing from a design standpoint I don't understand. And I made a post on Twitter about it for those of you that follow me like 2 weeks ago. And I outlined it, and I think I counted 17 reasonable, what I would call versions of sweepers, and another 3, or maybe it was 14, and then another 3 that were conditional. Conditional being stuff like Seraph, where you have to like remove counters and he exiles all the stuff, right? Less than or equal to the number of counters he has. That's a lot to have in one standard format. And it's like multiple colors. It's all different types. It's all different casting costs. So it's just like, man, like, I've literally, I mean, not only that, and then that's not counting the whatever, like the 20 various forms of quality spot removal we have on top of that, right? So you have really good, and not even just like okay spot removal. We have really good removal cards right now, and then a bunch of those even exile. Right, that's the other crazy part, right? So like now you're taking away strategies of even like, well, when my creatures die, I could just maybe reuse them out of the art. Like, nope, because some of them just get exiled and you don't get anything. So stuff like Old Growth Troll that should help you be resilient to some of those doesn't necessarily help you. Now you still play Troll because it's 3 mana, 4/4 that tramples or whatever, but you're not getting that token as often, right? Because it's getting exiled. And then like you can still now you can play stuff like Vehicles, which dodges some of that. But then like I got hit with today, or was it in today's video, I think actually, where a person played Farewell, and you're like, well, that thing exists, right? Like, like why Farewell exists on top of all the other removal we got. I was just like, I remember in the preview when I saw it, I think that was one where I just like walked away from the computer for a second. So I was just like, why does that card exist? Why? There's no need for that card to exist with everything else we've got right now. I'm having a little trouble with MTGA lately, and I'm not sure if it's a meta shift or user error, but I've been getting my butt kicked with both Boros aggro and mono black control. Well, those probably, part of the issue is those play completely differently. So I would buckle down on one of them and try to figure out why you're losing or what you're losing to or what those sequences are. Because I can say with Boros aggro, I was crushing it. Mono black control is a little bit tougher, but again, you have to play that a completely different way than you're playing the Boros aggro. So if you're switching between them and your mentality hasn't changed entirely in the switch, then you're probably not doing yourself any favors. You can get back from a Wrath effect with many blue cards that you win the game effect, feeling like it's not fun at all. Fair. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of other things from a design standpoint I'd be more concerned about with Magic right now. But that being said, being completely fair to Wizards, this recent set is pretty dope. I mean, it really is. Like, we got a good variety of everything. We got some things that still help the creature deck survive a little bit and dodge some different removals, so it's pretty nice. So, oh, you just, yeah, saw Farewell. Yeah, Farewell's a wild card, man. So, I don't think, like, the thing is, it's going to be people actively working, at least in best of 3. You're going to have to actively work to beat the control decks, especially the black-white control decks, because I think those are going to be the most representative thing in best of 3. Not because they have a lot of good options, but they also get quality sideboards. I think the way you get around some of that is playing stuff like Tamiyo's safekeeping and things to, like, give yourself some hexproof, make yourself indestructible, force them to have a meat hook at the right times, right, and be able to push through that type of stuff. Play the resilient creatures, the stuff that tramples, you know. I think that's how you're going to overcome that. But that's just going to be the format having to catch up, I think, is the biggest deal. I did enjoy pre-release a lot, to be honest. And, you know, a lot of people said that. You know, there's a lot of retailers I still talk to and deal with in my groups, and they were all saying, like, this has been one of the best pre-releases they had. It's been some of the best sales they've had. Like, they can't even get enough product right now. They're afraid of running out in some cases. So, everything they did with Kamigawa, they did right. And I mean literally, like, the card design, the artwork, the promos, that crazy anime intro trailer thing they did that's like 3 minutes long. It looks like an anime movie. They even put out a soundtrack that people can play when they're streaming. Like, there's all this stuff they did around the set. And every one of those things has done a good job for pulling people in. Plus, they also worked with people who were culturally deep in the whole Japanese background. They work with people, Japanese historians and artists and, you know, people from Japan that knew the culture and the look and the style. And sure, that helped a lot too. There's just a lot that they got right on this set. Like, there's very little, like, the complaints that are there when they come up are so small compared to all the things they got right. And that's what you want, because nothing's going to be perfect, right? Let's be honest. Nothing is going to be perfect, but this has been really good, especially for introducing new deck types, new styles of play. Like, it really did a very good job. Neuro, if you're driving, you should probably not be typing. How about you keep your eyes on the road and just listen to me? That's probably a much better idea. Weebs and MTG is an effective count. Yeah, I'm sure that Venn diagram is like this. And there's just a little bit on the edges that is not crossed over. There's a lot of weebs in the Magic community, which I'm sure couldn't wait to get their hands on this set. So yeah, so anyway, we have things we can do. So let's hop over and let's look at, I don't know, what do we want to play? I have this 5-color Shrine deck. I'm kind of like, I'm going to take it into the play queue. I don't think it's worth a damn, personally, but it's something I put together, so let's see if it happens. They did put a lot of extra elbow grease into the set. Well, and the only concern I have is I hope they didn't, like, break the bank on just this set. Because I was thinking about it the other day, like, we're going into basically a mobster, film noir, whatever set, right? With Streets of New Capenna. You know the sweet promos you could do with that? With the whole, like, black and white, you know, like, business suit, whatever scenes that you could do. And the card tiles, like, we could get a for real, we could get a forget about it, right? That could be some weird blue card. or Sleep with the Fishes could be one of those blue removal cards. Or Cement Shoes, there you go, right? They could be one of those blue cards that you put it on a creature and it gets like -3 or whatever and can't do anything, right? There's so many cool things you could do. So many cool things you could do with that set. So I hope they keep this same energy going into that set. Oh man, I'm gonna have to like close Arena and reopen it. But like, that would be exciting. Like, there's so many fun things you could do. I don't know. You have like an energy gun equivalent of like a Tommy gun or something. I don't know. But like, when it comes to that style of show or movie, like, there's so many things you could do. So many things. So I'm hoping they pull through on it and deliver. Because because if it gets the same treatment like we got with Kamigawa, oh man. Like, what I'm hoping, which would also be sweet, is because, you know, sometimes they send content creators like kits to preview and stuff. They should send the kits to the content creators in like briefcases. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Like, briefcases, I don't know, maybe they have like fake money wads or something in there, and then like the products inside. Like, that could be kind of fun. To like, just, you get this random briefcase in the mail, and then there's like stuff inside, and you have, or maybe even you have to like find the code or something. I don't know. Like, that could just be fun. But that's what I'm about. Like, give me that. Like, I really love the newest trailer. I know they are different projects, but I hope the trailers. Yeah, but it's weird, right? Because we got that one that everybody really loved for War of the Spark, and then people really didn't care for the next couple. So I don't know what we're gonna get, honestly. Oh boy. Can we even keep this hand? I don't think we can. I think this is bad. Oh, why am I doing this to myself? I'm gonna mulligan this. Okay, this is a little bit better. We'll keep this and toss the mirror box. I like, this is literally the first games I'm playing with this, so I have no idea. Like, this is a list I just put together and I just stared at it and went, let's go. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know if it's even reasonably playable. Like, I'm just hoping I can cast all my stuff. That's where I'm at right now. But this is not a bad start. Because, like, we can turn to this thing. If it lives, we could put down Eska. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let's put this on green because we can get red off the other one if we feel we need to. Alright. So now I might hold up and see if we can just get the prismatic bridge down. I don't know that we can, but maybe. I'm tempted to, like, in-step try to play this if they try to do something, but I'm just going to cast this. Oh, they don't even have a counter. Huh. Well. I mean, 1 damage is 1 damage either way, I guess, right? Alright. Come on, we need a... Actually, we just need a blue, black... We need anything that's not a red or a green land. Like, that's what we need right now. Anything that's not red or green. That's all we're looking for. Oh, you bubble snared my dude. Son of a... Gosh damn it. That was like the worst possible thing. Well, crap. Now what do we do? Man. Okay, well, I guess all we can do is attack. We'll play this. Oh, I guess I should have played. That would have been another point, right? Yeah, it would have been a 3-3. I wasn't even thinking. Fan says I got knocked out of the top half hard during Neon Dynasty pre-release. Go Shintai. Oh, yeah. I can see that. Alright, Quandrix Cultivator. Well, we're already too far behind now. Them putting our mana creature under the bubble snare actually ends up being a very big play here. So, barring us getting like another... Oh, of course they have more of those. Why wouldn't they? Sure. We'll at least get to do some damage. So why not? Alright, opponent. What you got for us here? Oh, boy. This is... Being stuck on 3 is not where we want to be. I mean, we're really kind of just waiting for them to play like Coma or whatever else here and just kill us, right? That's sort of all we're waiting on. Yeah, sure, no block. All right, we got a land. We got this. We have 2 of them, so we might as well try one. Oh, it actually stuck. Wow. I mean, we're going to take a big hit and possibly die here next turn. But is what it is. Yeah, it's definitely a Simic ramp deck. But what are they doing? Like, what are they ramping to is always the question. Because this is the first spell they even have in their yard. So if it's just Leer or something, we don't care. If it's Hullbreaker, it's a bit more annoying. Whoa, now. All right, you get to keep creatures on lockdown. That kind of sort of helps. I mean, we'll get a point of life. We could play this so we could double block. Or we just play this. We can block one of those anyway. But they don't even have lethal. That's only 10. Alright, I guess we do this. And again, it's another point, so it's not the end of the world. Alright, let's see what's up. I mean, they could bounce everything here or something. I don't know. There's a bunch of things that are about to happen. Of course. Why wouldn't they have that? Like, just all my stuff's never gonna untap. Like, way to go, opponent. Yeah, unless we hit big off of this, we're dead. I can get the white one that would let us make tokens. And that'd be the best thing we could do here. If we don't hit that one, we're probably dead. We did not get the one that let us make tokens, so we are dead. Actually, depending on what's in their hand, we may not be dead, because we can flash this in. And this will at least be a 4/4. Actually, do I have enough mana for that? Oh, I do have a treasure. So yeah, I still have enough. That's fine. Yeah, let's do that. We will pay. This will just pump this one, I guess. And then we'll pay and deal 2. Alright. I mean, if they have another tap thing, we're dead anyway. Alright, Sculpt of Winter does not kill us. That's good news. Spirit of Aldegar does not kill us. It sets us up to be killed, but it does not kill us. Alright. Oh my goodness. Alright, opponent. As long as you have 8 or more lands, it gets +1. Alright, random card selection, but sure. Alright, we're going to flash this Tutor in. Gain a life. We'll make this indestructible. So we can block here, and we can block here. And take 3. Alright, not dead. Gain a life. Oh, we got AO. Alright. Things are happening now. We can attack with this because it flies. It has vigilance from this, right? So probably just attack with that. Don't think we can put anything else. Yeah, we need to be blocking with everything else. All right. And then we get to destroy target creature with toughness less than or equal to the number of shrines I control, which is currently 3. So, yeah, we're going to be spending some mana here. Let's pay 1 to pump this one. And then we'll pay 1 to destroy this. And then I will spend the treasure for... because I don't want to tap any of my creatures here. Even though I can, you know, do that. That's fine. We have 3 damage. Let's go ahead and kill this off. Oh, cannot? Oh, it's player or planeswalker. It's not creatures. Dang it. Okay, well, we got it next turn anyway, unless something crazy happens here. Nope, that is not going to do it. Wow! Haha! Alright, that's it, y'all. We're going to pack it up. We have 100% win percentage. That'll do. Look at this board state. This is absolutely stupid. Like, the fact that there's like triple bubble snare on top of all that other insanity that happened. I don't know how we won that. Really. We got to 1 life and had just the right cards to not die. And the shrines genuinely mattered. Like, that was the other thing. Like, literally all the damage, the +1s, even Kyodai actually really mattered to let us double block. Like, that was crazy. Like, every card was important. It's always cool when you get those games, though, because you look and go, oh, all the choices I made mattered, you know, like, and you feel good about it. But my gosh. Oh, jeez. Hey, that's one more win than I thought this deck might get. So, like, I'm already, like, we're probably going to lose every game after this, but we at least got 1 win, and it was a fun win, so. Don't hate it. Playing against Tika's Dragon, named after an actual Magic card. That's pretty cool. I think we mulligan this. Oh, that didn't get much better, did it? Wow. Jeez. I guess we're gonna keep this. Scrap that. And I guess we'll put this one on green. I mean, just because I can get white, and I know we have double white, double black in hand, so I'd rather these be something else. Especially since we can play Celestis, and that opens up any of these being played. Alright, well, the opponent's got the Counterspell Brigade ready to go. So we're going to let this get killed first. Mostly because if there's a counter, I didn't want to run the Celestis into it. However, it appears they don't have a counter and don't actually have a quality kill spell here. Why was there a weird pause during our end step then? Maybe it was just like negates, but not. Nope. Nope, not even that. Huh. I mean, if we play the Innkeeper and they meat hook for 2, then we could try to run one of these out. So I'm willing to bait that. Because we'll still have the treasure and we'll still have access to 5 mana. And they'd have to tap out entirely to kill our stuff. So I'm okay with that. Well, they don't even have that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, y'all. I am just floored right now. Like, I am genuinely confused. I almost want to keep a meat hook just for meat hook parity, but hell with it. If they're not going to deal with our stuff, let's just gamble. I mean, I'm at a loss about what we should even be doing right now. So, I mean, do we even try? I guess we just try this. I think I'm just playing too conservative at this point, because I don't know what the opponent's even up to. This is weird. Oh, end of the Royal? That's it? Okay, then. I thought it was going to be something way worse than that. I mean, are they just working up the Hull Breaker? Just bounce. Oh, no. Whoa. I absolutely did not see that coming. Wow. Okay, so now I get what they're doing. Their plan is just going to be bounce a bunch of things, play this so they can connect with that a bunch. That's what their goal is here. Got it. Okay, so we kind of just have to play this so they have to waste a card this turn. No attacks. And then we just hope for the best from here. But I assume they have another bounce spell. Yeah, so I played this all wrong. without the... Oh, well, there's an exile spell, so yeah. So yeah, that's what I get for playing this all wrong. They got us. Yep. Played that completely the wrong way. Credit to the opponent, though. Like, I had no idea what we were even supposed to be playing around or what we were doing, so... it all kind of makes sense. Good on them. They earned the win. I can't even be mad about it. Okay, we will keep this. This seems more than reasonable. We'll play a turn 2 Taxidermist and hope for the best after that. Oh boy, we're gonna get to do this. Anytime you see Snowlands and either a Shambling Gas or an Eye Twitch, you already know you're in for a boring game of Magic these days. But we'll do what we can to get through it. If I get a green mana... Alright, they got a Blood Chief Thirst. That's fine. That actually helps a little. Mostly because I think one of our best bets here is going to be to actually get down the Prismatic Bridge against this type of deck. So I'm hoping I can get one of the last colors I need, either a white or a blue land here, to set us up. Yep, not blocking, friend. Not blocking. Feel free to do your thing. Alright, using another kill card. Sounds good. Now it's crunch time, right? Do I want to hold out for the... Yeah, we're not. We're not. I'm just going to do this. No. Let's go with this one. Higher toughness is the only reason I'm doing it. I mean, if we miss the land, this is totally on me. Yeah, playing a Redain would actually be pretty reasonable, honestly. No, Westgate Regent, the reason you don't see it is because it's just lesser than other things you could be doing for 5 mana. It's not a bad card. Like, if you could give it haste or something, it's actually got some reasonable aspects. But outside of that, it's not one you really want to play. Crap, we got another red-green one. Well, I guess this gets put on green, and then we just go with this. Now, on the plus side, when Kura dies, we can go get a blue or white land, and then allow us to play Prismatic Bridge. Because it's very likely going to die, because I'm assuming that's probably like a Poison the Cup. Oh no, it is not a Poison the Cup at all. Could still be worth blocking, though. I mean, for real. like it might be worth it. Oh, well, we found it anyway. The hard way. I like it. Okay, I think we just sit tight here. No reason to do anything else. Because if they do have some type of sweeper or whatever, we'd rather just wait and get a big 6/6 as opposed to attacking, they block, we get our token, and then they can kill it easily. All right. We might have gotten lucky here. We'll see. Opponent's got a lot of mana here too, though, y'all. Looks like they're going to be trying to sweep the board. So what do you have to get back? Actually, here's the bad part. They're going to sweep the board and get back a Reaper. I think what's about to happen. They're going to Blood on the Snow. But, oh no, it's just a Scavenger. So they're playing a bunch of Death Touch things. Fair enough. The good news here, though, is that means there's a realistic chance they're not interested in sweeping the board. If that's the case, things are opening up quite a bit here. Yep. You aren't quite big enough because we only have 2. Oh, we do have 3 things in the yard, actually. Can we survive a big hit here? So what we can do is this. And then we could just use that at some point. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's pass. Can't really destroy anything because we only have 1 shrine. Alright. We'll decline to spend the mana. And then we're just using this for discard fodder as it gets rid of one of these. Alright, so we'll go ahead and crack this. Pre-combat, so they don't get the little +1 trigger. Ah, alright. That's a good one to pick up. I don't hate that. Can we use the mana if we get it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could play this. This isn't blocking anyway, so that's a non-issue. Yeah, we'll block here. Interesting they didn't attack with the scavenger, but alright. I feel like they kind of did us a favor by not attacking with the scavenger, really. Not to say they don't just have some other kill spell here. Because they probably do. Unfortunately, this is just a 6/6 body with no abilities. Yep, they're going to inscription that. That makes sense. I'd rather that than this, though. Actually, they can't anyway, because it's a cost thing, right? Yeah. Alright, so they're down to 1 card. We didn't get a shrine. Gosh dang it. Oh, but we did find a meat hook massacre. That matters. Okay. We could kill everything. We're at 10. Currently, the opponent can't do enough to us to kill us. If we played this, though, then there'd be... We'd have to sacrifice... Yeah, we just gotta do this, right? That just makes the most... I mean, the problem is then we can't cast this. So we kind of get 1 shot at it. But then I'd be getting rid of... Yeah, we gotta. I don't like it, but I think we have to. Alright. Let's do it. Attacking here doesn't really do much, so I'm just willing to play this. Now we have to hope the opponent isn't savvy where they could actually wreck us by getting rid of one of our multi-lands here. Okay, they're opting to pass on that, so we got a little lucky. At least give us an opportunity to find something. I'm willing to get rid of this. And see if we can hit what we need. Not the worst start. I will pass on killing the eye twitch, though. Don't think it's really worth it to just give them a spell of their choice here. Oh, now they're like, what if I get rid of that land? like, just gonna make our life more difficult. Let's see what we hit. Alright, well we got treasure at least, so that's fine. Let's go ahead. Yeah. Hopefully they don't have an exile spell, and we actually get to do something with this. And I'm trying to think if there's any reason we would need to hold on to this, but I don't think there is, so I'm just going to play it. And we're going to pass. And we'll just wait till next turn when we can actually get a big attack in. And again, don't necessarily want to set up something where AO gets just exiled here easily. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. We'll just keep the old one. That's some bad luck. Dang it. Like, I'm doing all we can. Okay, now I think this is where we attack. I mean, if those cards are removal cards, then so be it. Yep. Makes sense. It wasn't even Deadly Disputes or anything. Interesting. Hey, Pop, you like the discard video. That's cool. I'm not one that's been a big fan of them, but, you know, if you're probably running into a lot of, like, control-type decks, it's actually not bad. It's going to struggle, though, with, like, the super hyper aggro decks, I think. All right. Well, there goes our AO. At least we're going to get a card for our trouble. That's about it. All right. Exactly. We knew that was coming. Well, that's not bad. I mean, if we can get one or two more solid hits in here, I mean, the opponents... Oh, that's good, too. Okay, then. Well, now it's definitely not worth attacking. Well, I say that. Opponent goes to 9. I'm assuming they block this. They would take 2, go to 7. We shoot them for 2. They go to 5. It's not quite enough. All right. We'll just pass. No attacks. In the turn. We will pay, put counters on itself. We will pay, we'll shoot the opponent. Target a creature with toughness 3 or less. This. We gain a life. And we'll pay, shoot the opponent for 3. Okay. Now if our creatures die, it doesn't really matter, because we have Meat Hook, and then we've got this to do the last point. Yep. And that should get us there. Well, I say that. Could be a spot removal thing in their hand. Well, it wouldn't matter, because they'd have to be black mana. So yeah, we're good. Oh, nice bonus action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Just because we can. We'll pay. Then we'll pay. All right. Cool. Not really sure what we were up against there, but I'll take the win. That was a very weird direction to get there. Works on the control decks until they draw like 5 anyways. Yeah, that's fine though, but I mean, at least you're limiting what they can do and how they do it. Like, the thing is, it's not always about like, I have to empty their hand. I think that's one of the things people get into with control, with discard decks, is like, the reality is you just need to get to a point where you can control what's happening in the game state, right? That's really what you're aiming for. Trying to get yourself to a path where when you do the thing you want to do, they don't have the right cards. Or you're taking advantage of what's in their graveyard or whatever, right? There's other things, just depending on the spin you're putting on it. But it's not all their cards at all cost, right? It's just a point where, all right, did I clear enough of a path where they have to play cards knowing that I might make them discard them? So they're now tapping out a little bit so I can get down a Planeswalker or whatever, right? But I think it's easy to say, well, I'm playing a discard deck, so my first thought should be, I got to get rid of every single card. And it's like, not really, though. You would like to. You don't always end up that way. But, you know, So it's a different type of play style. You kind of got to figure out based on the feel of the game. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This doesn't feel like it should work. It really shouldn't. But if you want something fun for the play queue, maybe this is a thing. I don't know. Okay, what are we gonna do here? We're gonna keep this. And then I guess we just... how's this gonna go? Turn to Taxidermist, which probably doesn't survive. And then we can... well, we got another green land there, too. Okay. Taxidermist. I mean, you didn't play anything. I'm assuming you got a burn spell here. It'd be really weird if they don't. No, just a commando. Okay, that's some good news-ish, right? Sparring Regiment. Ah, dang it. I was just thinking we might have a point where we could actually use this dang shrine to kill that, but that's not going to happen now. Okay. What's the plan here, then? If we can't do that, I mean... we're not going to block, so we could just play this to be a fish. Actually, do we just set up Doomscar? I mean, that might be the real question. And then we just start playing our shrines after that. I think that's what we're doing here. So we only have access to 4 mana here. I was thinking if we had 5, we could do that and do something else. I think we just get the Celestis down then. And then we pass. So no matter what, even if something happens to our Taxidermist, we can still Doomscar next turn. My guess is we're going to take 5, they're going to play another creature, possibly 2, and then we Doomscar and try to recover from there. I know so many people that want to put Sunrise Cavaliers in their decks, and like, I just don't like the card. I guess we block here, right? That is trampled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we're not doing anything else next turn anyway. We still have access to 5 even without this, so sure. We have double white already. I think I just like so many other cards more than I like Sunrise Cavalier, but I see a lot of people, even on my comments, like people are like, you should play Sunrise Cavalier in a sec, and my answer is just almost always no. It just almost never works out for me. Yep, you get to destroy that. Makes sense. Alright. What do I think of Explosive Singularity? The new 10... nope, don't like it. Unless you're playing a thing that's just super heavy in tokens, I don't understand why you'd want to play it. Hey man, tried your Naya deck. I added a couple things here or there. Overall, not bad. What do I think of adding Vorinclex to it? I don't even know which deck you're talking about. Not to be rude. I mean, we've just played a lot of decks. So I'm not totally sure what you're even referring to. Okay, they can remove a lot of things with this. Alright, I think our plan's just going to be cast this, try to play AO next turn, and hope that AO gets to block a big-ass Lion's Ash. Which of the Naya decks are you talking about? Because there's a real chance that you probably don't need Vorinclex. Yep, alright, we're just going to take a pile. Naya counters? No, you don't need Vorinclex. I mean, you can play it, but he's going to be slow a lot of the times. Like, you're going to win. Like, I've played a couple just if I was worried about there being a lot of sweepers and just having a haste creature after the fact. But, like, that's about it. Yep, I need another sweeper here or we're just dead. That is not the sweeper that we need, unfortunately. Even if one of these was black, it wouldn't be enough. Alright, GG's opponent. You got us. We really didn't do much that game. But yeah, the problem is people look at Vorinclex and they're like, oh, it doubles my counters, whatever. But the thing is, look at it this way. how many game situations have you played with it where you were like, man, if I really had a Vorinclex here, like a lot of times it's just like, if this is just a burn spell, or this is just a removal card, or if this is just whatever, right? You would win anyway, is the biggest thing. So, like, and I think that's the mistake to deck building, is people look and say like, oh, this card has the right words that match what I'm doing, I should put it in here. But I always ask people, like, is that going to help you win more games? Or is it just going to help you win the games you're already winning better? Effectively, is it really strategic in more situations that I draw this? Is it going to help me win games I wouldn't otherwise win? Or is it just going to help me win with style points? Right? And that's the sad part about Vorinclex a lot of the times. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think Vorinclex is bad. And if you're running into, like I said, a lot of sweepers and stuff, having a hasty creature is very good, especially at 6 power, right? So, wouldn't turn my nose up at it if you wanted to play it. But I would always look at, what are you taking out to play Vorinclex? Because you're automatically slowing your deck down, right? Because I think the next most expensive thing in the deck is like 4. So, and a lot of it's like 2 or 3. So you may even have to adjust your mana because you're adding 2 6-cost things that didn't exist before. Sure, it can. And I'm not saying that's particularly bad, but, you know, would I rather have another Vorinclex, or would I rather have like another Felidar Retreat? Right? Because then I'm just making all my creatures gigantic anyway, and I'm still going to kill the opponent. But, again, I'm not saying Vorinclex is bad in those builds. Completely can do it. Just be very particular about what you're taking out of the deck to be able to play the Vorinclex. Because there are situations, like I said, where haste creatures are just the bomb, especially if you're able to do a lot of early damage and your opponent's at like sub 10 life already, then like, cool. You know, Vorinclex is 1 or 2 hits and your opponent's dead. And that's something to really consider. So I'm not saying I'm opposed to it. I'm just saying the way the deck played out for me, I didn't feel like I needed Vorinclex in almost any situation. At least the matchups I came up against. But again, if you're playing against a bunch of, like, I don't know, Orzhov, well, even then, we survived some of the control decks too with that deck. So, I don't know, may not just be necessary. Maybe if there was a world where, I don't know, if there were a lot of other decks also putting counters on things, then Vorinclex has a little bit of extra value. Like, let's say you were playing against the enchantment deck, right? The green-white enchantment aggro a bunch. They have multiple things that are putting +1/+1 counters on stuff, right? Like the Kami of Transients and the, like the Visitor and whatever. So, if you were playing against those, you would be slowing them down from getting counters, and there's some value to that for sure. This is a weird hand to keep, but I'm absolutely going to. I mean, we got Innkeeper into Shrines, and we'll just see what happens. Or maybe, I don't know, depending on what land I draw, maybe we're supposed to just be like, well, I don't know. Nah, it's probably still turn 2 Innkeeper. I was thinking it was possible to like turn 2 Shrine into something, but even more so now, I don't want to do it. Because now we can Innkeeper, let them kill the Innkeeper, and then try to have bigger creatures with our Shrines. Oh, this is a baller opportunity here from the opponent. Super cool. So opponent's just going off with like a upgraded Goblins deck. I could appreciate that. I've been wanting to do some Goblin shenanigans as well, so I feel you. Yeah, just attack us for 6 here. We got nothing. Yep, we ain't blocking any of it. We're just gonna die a horrible death here. Well, we only kind of have one choice, unfortunately. And I think, sadly, that is just play this. Gain a life. Hope we actually get to block. And we draw a black source so we can meet it. But even then, a meat hook for 3 doesn't do enough. We might just be dead, y'all. Yep. Wanted that to live pretty badly. I'm not gonna lie. Really wanted that to live. Yeah, we're dead. Like, we were just too slow. Which I expect to happen a lot with this. That's completely up to you to decide on what you want to add. Like I tell people all the time, a lot of times when I play these decks, I play my games, I play maybe a handful off camera, and that's it. So I can't even speak to you about updates a lot of times till I get around to playing them to update them. That's kind of the downfall. If you're going to be playing different decks all the time every day for content, like just not putting in the time to go back and perfect certain ones or whatever, you know? All right, found a new opponent. So far, Shrines is neat, but I don't think it's particularly good, is the thing. It's entertaining, and that's about the most I could say about it. But I'm also playing, like, nearly defenseless in this version as well. I think this needs a mulligan. I'm pretty certain. Oh, boy. Ooh, we're going to keep this. And I guess I got to get rid of that because that's the most expensive thing. We might be dead out of the gate, though. Not going to lie. This may not go well for us at all. Yeah, this is not looking good. I was hoping that would at least be a land. Sadly, we're probably going to end up having to put this on green and not red just to give us a shot at casting other things. Yeah, I don't think we have much choice. All right, here we go. If we don't draw land, we're just dead. And even if we draw land, we might still be dead with this hand. Is that the one that... Oh, no, that goes and gets basics. Okay, opponent obviously wants a lot of land. All right, cool. We'll move on to the next game. I'm not going to waste the opponent's time or our time. Yeah, I do think this newest set is a lot of fun, honestly. Like, I have no real complaints about it. We were just talking about that earlier. By the way, if y'all want to be part of the giveaway for some of the Chibi Walker Plains mats, the Little Walker mats, or the Street Fighter mats, follow me over on Twitter. I have a giveaway going on. If you follow me and retweet the post, and you follow Ultra Pro, you are eligible. That's all you got to do. It's open to everybody around the world, so go over, follow that. It's just PowrDragn over there as well. Okay, we'll keep this one. We have all the mana. It's just, can we find anything to cast with this? It's going to be the real question. I'll put that one on green. Opponent didn't play anything. Why did you not play anything? All right, we'll go with this, I guess. Oh, no, it's not the Shrine mana that's the issue. Like, the deck as a whole is just like, you're just super slow at trying to do what you're trying to do. And to be honest, you're going to have a better time in Historic just because you're going to have access to a larger variety of shrines as well. What do we do here? I mean, we could... I mean, is the only way we win if we stick a Prismatic Bridge and it survives? I sort of feel that way. All right, I'm going to do this. We're just going to play a Prismatic Bridge. Well, actually, we can cast this too, I guess. Yeah, I think we're just going to Prismatic Bridge and hope. I mean, there's a possibility we could do this and then gain enough life off of the Innkeepers that we could be okay. I mean, the opponent's obviously going to be... Oh. Tendrils. That's not something we saw coming. Okay, then. I thought something completely different was going to happen there. How wrong I was. All right. Well, let's go. Let's see if we can get enough shrines to make some things happen. And we obviously are going to need blockers against the Cleric life gain decks. So let's see what's up. Oh, man. Wait. You just turned that into a treasure? Fine. Fortunately, I have another one. Who plays that silly card anyway? I mean, obviously my opponent does, and it worked. So, whatever. All right. Let's try again. We'll keep this one. I guess I should have blown up that treasure at some point, huh? Sure. See what else they got for us. They obviously have a bunch of defensive cards, and they're not creatures. Exactly. Like, we should have seen that coming. All right, so I can crack this, get any color. All right. Fine. I guess we're just going to do this instead and start down that road. Do it the hard way. We will pay. Might as well just crack this. I was thinking about, do I have a way to get rid of this? I don't know that we do. So we'll decline. Actually, no, we will shoot the opponent. Because we don't want them to have too much life. Because we know how this ends up. Alright, so we did get 3 creatures in the graveyard. So we're 1 away from this actually being sizable. So that matters, I guess. Alright, we found a red land that's not really going to help us all that much. However, we do get to attack because the opponent only has 1 power. So, yeah. Why does this thing randomly have vigilance? Alright, opponent's going to take a pile here. We will pay, and we'll pay. Shoot the opponent. Alright. Weird that they actually had Minimus Containment, but they were... I mean, that being said, when people aren't playing those, they're just playing, like, Borrowed Time. So it could have been just the same stuff, really. Yep, alright. You gain more life. Ugh, did not want. Did not want. Well, attacking's not as effective anymore till these are at least 4/4s. No attacks. In the turn. We'll just keep making piles of duders then, I guess. If I were to get another shrine, I'd be able to at least offset some of the life gain they'd be doing. But that's not really a thing at the moment. However, if we get enough, we'll just be able to use Meat Hook to kill them. Like, it's going to be a random way to win if we do. Just Meat Hook, kill all, like, a pile of tokens, I guess. Oh, come on, deck. Now you're just messing with me. Even a creature to block with, put something in the yard to have just, like, bigger blockers would be great. At some point, I'm just going to start attacking with all the tokens, though, to be honest. Like, just to force some amount of damage through. Because now if they get an Angel, a Righteous, or Valkyrie, or whatever, it's going to be a little painful. Alright. There's a Meat Hook. Still don't think it's worth it, though. I mean, we could Meat Hook for 0 and then just attack with our 1/1s. Right? That wouldn't be the worst thing. We'd lose 3, make 2, lose 3, make 2. So it does have some diminishing returns, but I feel like I gotta at least move something forward here. Can't just sit here and let them gain infinite life and pump their creatures or whatever. That's just a bad idea. Alright. Obviously, they have something to get rid of our enchantment, because they're not playing a bunch of creatures. Alright. So it's probably a trick that only works one time. But we did put a big dent in their life total. Let's see what they're going to do here. Celestial Unicorn, you get to gain a bunch of life. That gets 3 counters here. Actually, no, you get bonus counters because you pumped up the Cleric class already. Yep. It doesn't really change our plan any. Other than maybe find another shrine. But we are reaching the point that if I'm going to do this and just wipe their board, I'm running out of time to do that. Now might be the only time I could do it and get rid of everything. Because one more and those are definitely going to be out of reach, right? 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, because I can only do it for -8. Unless I draw a land, then I can do it for -9. But we're going to play this game and hope for the best. And this is toughness, so that doesn't really do anything. All right. Sure. Do we attack here? Knowing we're going to make 3 dudes? I guess so. Well, then we just go to 4, and then we go to 5. And that's not great. I don't want to get more past if we're going to do that. So sure, no attacks. We will pay, make a bunch of things, we'll pay. Target creature with toughness 3 or less. Oh, we actually... well, we'll get rid of one of our tokens. Wasn't my intention. I had thought these stacked differently, but that's okay. It doesn't really change much overall. All right. Random card I didn't even know was a magic card. Enter the battlefield, return target creature card, mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Sure. Alright, that thing flies. Going to be a bit annoying. Now I might have to meat hook whether I like it or not. Ooh, hold that thought, please. Maybe we don't. Because now we're getting to the point that I might be able to produce enough to just meat hook for a win. Alright, so we play a shrine. We can deal 4 damage, make 4 tokens. That gives us 12. So it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 straight up, plus the 4 that we're going to deal. Oh, that's close. Well, we'll get to attack at some point. So, sure. Oh, crap. I can't because I don't have the other thing out. Ah, crap. Well, I guess we do it and get rid of everything. All right. 6, 7, 8. I guess I could have attacked. I would have got a couple more points in. So that does matter. I missed at least 2 points there. Actually, more than that. I actually missed like 6. Which is actually important. I mean, they get to return something here. So, you know, we got to do that whole thing again. Which means they're just going to get one of these back. But, you know, not a lot we can do about it. But the fact the opponent would have been at like 5, or at least 9, versus what they're at now, does make a difference. So, I mean, that is a thing. You are maybe helpful. A little bit late. Sadly, I think we missed our opportunity. Yep. Just too many dead turns. And now they're pulling away. So, I think we're just dead. There may be some random outs. We can find another one of our sweepers, potentially. But realistically, we're dead. Yeah, drawing like that, we're definitely dead. Take action. Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, we're dead. We just had too many turns where we just weren't doing anything. We drew a lot of mana while we just sat there. Ah, that's bad. That's bad. That sucks to play one of those long games and then just not draw anything for so many turns. So we pretty much drew mana, got another white shrine, that we couldn't play because we already had White Shrine in play. And then drew, I guess, the Celestis, and then 2 more lands. So 4, 5, 6, and then I guess technically our next 2 draws. So we had 7 cards in a row that were mana sources and 1 that was a shrine. It's not cool. Sometimes that happens, but no way out of that. All right, we'll keep it. Let's do what we're going to do. I'll put this on green. We'll put this other on white. We'll try to play our Taxidermist and pray that it lives. And if it doesn't, well, we'll just be really sad. All right, ambitious farmhand, sure. Come on, untap land. Not quite, not quite. All right, how do we want to do this? I guess we want to try to be mana efficient here. And we'll see what happens. Because I think the play, if we get a land next turn, is still just to play this and then try to kill off some farmhands. I would assume. Yeah, or we do this, or nothing really happens. So, you know, that's a thing. I guess we play a Taxidermist. That would give us 4, potentially 5, or we could do that and that. But then this sets us... that doesn't really set us up any better, though. All right, we'll just do this. No attacks. We'll pay, and we'll kill one of those off. Oh, again, I can't. It's only hit players and planeswalkers. Gosh dang it. I keep forgetting you can't hit creatures with that. I think I'm stuck on playing like the old red one where I think you could target anything. Well, fair enough. We're going to need piles of blockers, I guess. No attacks. At least we can just go upstairs with damage here. So that could matter. It's probably another Hallowed Haunting. No, actually that's a real card. Okay. And another Machiko's Reign of Truth. Alright, cool, cool. I mean, we're just blocking. Oh boy. Oh boy. What are we looking to do here? We pay these costs. These would be bigger. We could block, but does that really do anything? I guess we just make our creatures bigger, because that allows us to play the other shrine next turn. No attacks. Do we pay to make blockers here, or do we pay to just shoot the opponent? I think we pay for blockers. Because they're about to be flying in a couple turns. So we don't have that much time. I may have to just start going upstairs. Playing this is at least 8 a turn we get to deal to the opponent. So that's a real number. What does that even do? Oh, it makes your stuff cost less. Alright, well that's good to know. Oh, passivism. Great. We weren't blocking or attacking with that anyway. That, however, is highly annoying. That is a real problem. Alright. Okay. Land might be important here. So we get to make 4 blockers now. And shoot, put the opponent at 8. Actually, we can play this one as well. We get to make 5 blockers. No attackers. We will make blockers. Because they need 1, 2, 3. They only have 4, 5. They still need 2 more enchantments. We'll decline that. We'll decline that. will shoot the opponent. All right. So now we at least have them in death range next turn, potentially. Now, if they get other enchantments in play, we just die. Because those are all going to have flying and whatever. So they only have one card, so that's the good news. Catilda. No. No, 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 no. Oh, Lifelink's going to be the death of us, isn't it? Are we going to need, like, actually need just, like, a Doomscar? Is that the only way we're not dead? I mean, I guess if we found an Innkeeper, that would give us enough potential life to be alive. Whew, I don't know. Well, there's a Doomscar. All right. Man, Doomscar leaves us with nothing, though. Oh, my gosh. Is there a way we can kill the opponent here? Our 2 shots in the air are only 10, right? So they're going to gain 10 from the Catilda. So that doesn't help. We can get 5 blockers. That still doesn't do anything because we have to block everything on the ground, plus the 10 coming over. Though, here's a possibility. If they attack us with everything, we might be able to retaliate for enough to win. Now, I will say, the correct play here is to actually just play Doomscar. I honestly believe that. However, I think we're better off letting them... Let's see, because that's 10. It's 11, 12. If they have any way to pump something, we die. Right? So I'm going to risk it for the biscuit here. And just pass. No attacks. End the turn. Alright, we're definitely going to pay for the 5 creatures. We have enough to pay for all this. So let's auto pay. Let's put the counters on this. So we're at least big enough to block something effectively. Let's pay for this one. Do the same thing. We'll pay to shoot the opponent for 5. And then we'll shoot the opponent for 5. Alright. So we know for sure they're attacking with at least just Catilda. If they can find 2 points, we die. Okay, they didn't find 2 points here. So I think we still win this. We'll block all these 5/5s. Actually, I don't even know. We just can just block their things, actually. We can just keep our other creatures. Let's, this one's being double blocked. Let's pull this one off. And then, is that it, blocks-wise? We're taking 12? Sure. All right. Okay. That should do it, right? Okay, looks like it is. Whew. Alrighty then. Yeah, exactly. I needed the math meme emote. Yeah, for sure. Oh, man. So, though we did draw the Doomscar, it was actually worth the risk to not use the Doomscar. The reason there was that I couldn't think of a way they were going to produce 2 extra days. That's not true. They could have had another Machiko's Reign of Truth or whatever, but they'd already played 2 of them, so I was willing to gamble on them not having another, because that was the only thing I could think of they were realistically going to play there. Otherwise, we knew we were going to have enough blockers, and if they all out attack, they were going to die. Like, and honestly, the only play they really could have made that might have helped them would have been to just attack with Catilda and nothing else. Actually, Catilda and the other 2/2, right? Because they would deal 12 to us, put us to 2, Actually, I don't even know if they would have been worth it to do that. It might have been worth it just to attack with just Catilda. Then they gain their 10, and then you force me to have to find a way to find 4 more damage on my turn. Which them having at the time would have been, what as it was, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blockers. So we would have been a little hard pressed to find those extra couple points of damage considering what we drew. So that definitely would have made a difference. And if we don't kill them there, then we just die to their Catilda straight up. Or either one of their flyers at that point, because we were at 2, right? So yeah, I think that was the thing. Opponent got a little over aggressive. I think if they stayed back and only hit us with the flyers, we would have had a hard time finding a way to win, for sure. Because I'm sitting here thinking we would only had, what is that? The 6 tokens or 7 tokens plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures I could attack. So I really could only even force 2 points through. But if they blocked our 8/8s, then we wouldn't have enough to actually punch through and kill them with our shrines. So yeah, we would have been forced to do what we can, and then I would have had to just Doomscar, and we would have still been playing more Magic. So yeah, one of those weird scenarios. Things just work out awkwardly sometimes. I mean, you take the wins. It's just weird. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me. I think it's snowing outside again here. Yeah, it actually is. It started snowing over the last few minutes. That's crazy. It was actually wonderful weather yesterday, and now it's snowing. Though it's supposed to be like 45 and 50 starting on Thursday, I think. So weird. But yeah, this was I mean, I have footage. We can put together a video at some point if people want to watch the shrines be played, but I mean, I did it mostly because it's one of like a meme deck. People want to see it, but really, shrines aren't good. I wouldn't recommend playing them. I think if you want to play it in the open queue, in the play queue, I think it's fine. There's some fun things you can do. You know, like you saw there, you can pile up some tokens and deal a bunch of damage, but realistically, it's not going to be even remotely competitive. Like, and there's a lot of things, and I say this a lot, but there are things that you can definitely play on the ladder that you may not even be able to play in tournaments. I don't even think that I would play shrines on the ladder. I don't think it's even close. Like the problem, like I said, the problem is the cost, and they don't really do as much as the other ones, right? All the other shrines are like your opponent's discarding stuff and you're gaining life and you can shoot their creatures or whatever. Like these are way more balanced in the sense of like the blue one I didn't even play because it just like mills the opponent. And sometimes that's a benefit to the opponent if your goal isn't to mill the opponent out. So I didn't even want to play that one. But like the red one, it can at least be a win condition, but you need to get 3 or 4 shrines to really make it work. The green one's fine, at least giving you something to fight or block with, and that's cool. The black one can remove things, but it's also very slow, right? You got to get that out with 4 mana, and then starting the next turn, maybe you get rid of stuff that's like 2 or 3 toughness. So it can help. The other problem you have is if you're playing against mono white decks, you know, you're having to deal with Thalia, you're having to deal with Elite Spellbinder, and because you're playing all the shrines, you don't have a lot of flyers, right? So as you saw there, we were close to being dead to the flyers being weak. Now, I do think we offset it in some ways by being able to play like Innkeeper, using the Innkeeper to gain some life and whatever, and that can get you to the finish line a little bit, but it's still a lot of work. And if you're going to be playing multiple colors or you're trying to ramp your mana into doing something, there's just better things you could be doing. I mean, you know, you could play any version of like the Bard class decks, right? And take advantage of that. Like you could, there's so many things. Like even with that, if we swapped all, like take out all of the actual shrines and replace those with planeswalkers. You know what I mean? Like it's already like 1,000% better. Right? Like literally it's that simple. Like replace the white ones with the Wandering Emperor and maybe take the green ones out and we could play, I don't know, Ren and 7 and take the black ones out and play either Sorin, maybe split the difference and play like 1 or 2 Sorin and a Loth. And all of a sudden, like it starts looking like a real deck. You know what I mean? And you're still using a lot of the same mana stuff or whatever. But shrines are just not it, I don't think. Plus, these shrines are also creatures, which on the one hand is a positive, but also a negative, because you're in the world of all the like Doom Scars, Meathook Maskers, blah blah, whatever. So it's not like you can play as a control deck and then get the advantage, right? Once you sweep the board. You have to do creature things while still trying not to get wrecked by creature stuff, but also be susceptible to stuff that like comes after enchantments or whatever, right? So it's a little tough. It's a little tough. It's fun, don't get me wrong. It was a fun and interesting deck and the games were really interesting, so I like that. So if you do want to play shrines in standard, play Q, you can have a lot of fun. But don't expect to be better than like a 40 to 50% deck if you're lucky. And that's about it. It's not going to ever do more than that. There may be some version or two out there that actually has had a little bit of success, but I would say for spending your resources, I would not do it. I would just build something else, and I think you're going to be happier. That's my 2 cents. But it was fun. I enjoyed playing it. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys and gals and people. So I will say I'm going to take some time here. I'm going to go work on a video so I can make sure y'all have something to watch tomorrow. It's probably going to be Naya enchantments, I think is what we're going to end up doing for tomorrow. And we're going to be streaming on Twitch tonight at 9 p.m. I'm probably going to make it around 9:30, but either way, we'll say 9 p.m. Pacific. And we're going to be doing giveaways. We're going to do at least 3, probably more than that. So come by, hang out once an hour. We're going to do some giveaways of a bunch of different stuff. So if you want to be part of that, just follow me over twitch.tv/PowrDragn. Come say hello. And as always, follow me over on Discord, follow me on Twitter. We got a giveaway going on Twitter right now. If you want to support the channel, we have a join button down there. If you want to hit that for just 99 cents, you could help out. And yeah, otherwise, just thanks for being awesome, people. I enjoyed it. It was fun to hang out and try something different. And good chats. Good chats. But I will see y'all around the YouTubes. Thanks for stopping by this afternoon.